Has the Sun Belt robbed the South Alabama Lady Jaguars a chance to win the championship? I think so. It's Locked On Sun Belt.
You are Locked On Sun Belt, your daily podcast on the Sun Belt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sun Belt, your teams every day. Today's episode brought to you by Mazda. With the same drive into every detail, wins define the moment, putting in the work that defines you. Stay tuned for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you. Okay. JMU pulls away from the Cajuns. We'll get to that. They advance. They will take on Southern Miss. Louisiana beats LSU in baseball. Southern Miss lost, which basically everybody saw coming, especially Southern Miss fans. But Arkansas State wins as La Tech loses their fifth in a row. All of a sudden, those Bulldogs have gone from 8-1 to 8-6 very quickly. Then they get South Alabama this weekend. We'll see. But I'm sure in about 5 or 6 years of doing this, we have never started with Sunbelt women's hoops. We've done softball, but no women's basketball in the Sunbelt on the show. That streak ends today. There was clear video of Coastal Carolina and South Alabama going at it, which appeared to be mostly Coastal Carolina. Tracey Hueston slugging. It was Cordasia Harris. Okay. Now, from what I saw, and you guys can correct me, I'm not saying I'm going to, I saw the game. I just saw the video. In fact, it was my nephew, the Samo, who sent me the video. I was busy doing something else. I was going to go back and see if I could see the video. And then eventually it got posted on social media. All right. So it just looked like Hueston was posting up. Cordasia Harris was bodying her up. And then Hueston turned around and slugged her. Okay. So Hueston, she's been kicked off the team, but Coastal Carolina lost. They're not going anywhere, and they're not playing in the postseason. And she's a fifth-year senior. So basically, her career is done. So she missed out on a few minutes of the game. Okay. South Alabama ends up winning. They're moving on, and they're without their 3 leading scorers. Okay. I don't know what people think that Cordasia Harris is supposed to do when she gets slugged in the face. The thing is, her teammates actually got in front of her and actually tackled her to the ground to prevent her from retaliating. Okay. So the one Sunbelt, the one South Alabama player who could get suspended, who probably should be suspended, was Amaya Sutton. She came in there and she pushed Hueston to the ground, which is, again, defending her teammate. The other South Alabama player that got suspended was Daniela Gonzalez, who it looked like Gonzalez was just kind of trying to prevent Hueston from slugging the referees. You had the lady referee and the man referee trying to calm everything down. The woman referee got a forearm to the chin. She went down to the ground. It was Gonzalez who just sort of tried to get in the way of it and then backed off. But what happens? Hueston slugs Harris, and Harris, Sutton, and Gonzalez are all out of the next ball game. That is, to me, unacceptable. If you wanted to do Sutton, because she did push down Tracey Hueston, other than she did the right thing because she defended her teammate. All right. But if there was another player actually that came in and tried to grab Sutton to get away, just don't retaliate. Like, that's the reason you do trading in certain situations, right? I don't know if you practice that, but until you do, you don't know how you're going to react. And you saw some players get in front of Harris. You saw some players grabbing other players to try and prevent them from doing what happened. The Sun Belt released a statement saying they went over the footage and internal investigation. I'm not sure what that means, other than they looked at the video. I don't know if they questioned the players or not. All right. But South Alabama is ending on the short end of the stick, trying to defend themselves when Hueston, for I don't know what reason, again, I don't know if it was something going on earlier in the ball game. I don't know if she thought, Harris was, putting her leg in the back of her leg to try and injure her. I just looked like Harris was just trying to body her up, right? Hueston is posting up on her and Harris is behind her, playing basketball. And then Hueston turned around and cold-cocked her. And South Alabama is ending up on the short end of the stick. I think that stinks. Again, Coastal Carolina's athletic department apologized. Dr. Joel Orman from South Alabama, while handing out about 3 or 4 disclaimers, disagrees with the results. All right. They did not apparently suspend any of the players that left the bench, although I'm not sure I saw any players leave the bench. The players that I saw involved were just the players on the court. So I'm not sure if that was after. It kind of calmed down once they knew the referee, which the Sun Belt said she was recuperating and okay. So we wish her all the best, right? I still can't see her getting a forearm. I'm not sure if the forearm came from the side or was it from Hueston, because on the original video, I thought, well, maybe she just fell down and hit her head on the floor. But again, we just hope she's okay. All right. I mean, nobody wants any of that, right? In this ballgame. This is, there's a lot on the line, but it's not worth this at all. And South Alabama, which had been playing pretty well for the last couple of weeks, and they survive 80-70. They take down the number 9 seed, Coastal Carolina, and they will move on. But, good luck trying to win now without your 3 leading scorers and having about 24 hours to figure out how you're going to do that. So it's a real disappointing situation. I thought the Sun Belt could have done better. If you want to get Sutton, that's fine. But Harris should have been suspended and Sutton could have been suspended. They should have let Gonzalez and Harris off the hook for, I don't know what Harris did, and Gonzalez just tried to break it up. Basically, she put her hands up like I'm taking a charge. So there was a bad scene, and unfortunately, that's what it takes for us to talk about women's hoops. That is disappointing on many levels. I should do a better job of that, but that was the big news in the Sun Belt on Wednesday. All right, let's get into baseball. All right, it was another big night for Sun Belt baseball, as once again, the Sun Belt takes down the SEC. We will do that, as I will tell you right after I tell you about Mazda. There we go. This is Mazda's moving the game forward. For those who are sure there's more to score than what's on the screen. And, despite what happened, we're going to give it up to those South Alabama Jaguars. Playing better, taking down the 9 seed Coastal Carolina, having lost your players during the ball game, and you still hang on for the victory. It's a great job by South Alabama to collect themselves and move forward in the Sun Belt Conference tournament. These remind us of what it really takes to raise the bar. It's that extra work off the court, dialing in every detail, giving it that extra fire, that grit, and I never quit. We put that same position in every model. Highlights make the reel. What it took to get there makes it count. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you. All right, Dave Schultz, Lockdown Sunbelt, your teams every day. And despite Southern Miss's loss to Nicholls, which, again, everybody in Hattiesburg saw coming. I said it was going to be a classic letdown game, and they're like, Nicholls is our kryptonite. So disappointing. But the last 2 nights, what we've seen is Southern Miss and Mississippi State showing off in Mississippi. All right, packed house there. And you had a packed house for the Cajuns and LSU. All right. And right now, the Cajuns are playing better than LSU. All right. I'm not sure what's going on with the Tigers. It is something's going on. All right. Not hitting is going to happen. That happens every baseball season. All right. Doesn't matter if you have Dylan Cruz and Tommy Tanks on the team, you're going to go through a little bit of a slump. All right. But they're just tossing the ball around. They have numerous errors, numerous wild pitches, numerous pass balls. The first baseman can get a double play and ends up with zero outs. And just a bad job overall by LSU. That doesn't change the fact that the Cajuns are playing good baseball. Cajuns jumped out 3-0 in the first inning. And a lot like the game on Monday when I saw my Northeastern Huskies take down LSU, there weren't a whole lot of balls that were hit hard, just well placed. Leomides' double was between the third baseman in the bag, just was well placed. All right, a lot of balls through the hole, right through the 5-hole. All right. Or not the 5-hole, right through the first baseman and second baseman. All right. Few line drives were hit hard, but this was not like, a bunch of balls to the gap, right? Both doubles that I saw were, down the lines. They didn't even get into the corners. And from what I'm seeing, some of these guys have some wheels. Some of the Cajuns can move it. All right. And I even saw Hunt Palmer talk about how good the Cajuns are bunting the baseball. Like they do a good job. And he's the midday show host on ESPN 104.5 Baton Rouge. And he's complimenting how good the Cajuns do at bunting. And they didn't even use the double suicide squeeze in this one. But, this is a combination of the Cajuns playing well and LSU still not doing anything offensively with guys on base. They did get a home run. Caraway hit a 2-run home run. And the thing is, all these guys, it's amazing. They're not scoring runs, but they're all hitting like 350, or they were when they came into the ball game. And that the Cajuns pitched really, really well throughout this ball game. Let's see what we got here. Brash started. I guess he's on the back end, but he walked one, struck out 5. I don't remember too many breaking balls. He's just throwing 95, see if he can hit it. Scattered 2 hits over 3 innings. Pearson pitched 1 inning of shutout baseball. Smith gave up the 2-run home run to Caraway. Wilson gave up 2 hits in 1/3 of an inning. Pruitt goes 4 innings, gets a save, strikes out 1, and walks 1. And gives up 2 base hits. So that's a good job here. I mean, that's the stat, really. 2 walks, 11 strikeouts for the Cajuns pitchers. All right. And they scatter 7 base hits. So that's the old Tony Robichaux thing. You're going to give up a hit in an inning or so, and you don't want anybody on a base when you do. And the Cajuns did a good job of limiting that on Wednesday night. Let's check it out. What LSU did, because I'm not sure they did. I think they had a bunch. Let's see. They only walked 3 and struck out 9. So that's not bad, but they had 3 wild pitches and they had a hit batter. Do we get any pass balls? It doesn't say any pass balls. That's the pitching line. I'd have to go back through the rest of the scoring. But again, it's not been pretty. Gavin Guidry, 2 1/3 innings, 3 runs, all earned, 2 base hits, a walk, and 2 punch outs. Plog gave up 2 base hits and 2 strikes, but he had a wild pitch. And Rizzi, they kept on talking about his breaking ball not throwing strikes, but he's throwing the 95-mile-per-hour fastball behind the Cajun hitter in the left-handed batter's box. Like, it's not even close. Like, you don't even have to worry about him jackknifing into the ball because it is 2 feet behind him. I mean, the Cajuns are all of a sudden... What are they, 10-3? Let me see. And they moved up to, they were 14 when the week started in Warren Nolan's RPI. They are now, and they were down to 17 when the game started. Let's see. They're back up to 14. All right. Let me tell you, between me looking and me recording, they've gone up from 15 to 14. So they're right back where they were because they hadn't played Monday and Tuesday. So they fell a little bit as everybody else shuffles. So the Cajuns are back up to 14. All right. And they're getting DBU, Dallas Baptist, which we'll see if it's okay. Were they swept by Kent State? Isn't that what happened? They got swept early on. Let me see. And so we said Dallas Baptist is 8-5. No, UTSA. I'm sorry, UTSA. But since then, they did win 4 out of 5. They did lose to Oklahoma on Tuesday, 2-0. All right. So they get the Cajuns Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's a big series for both teams. If you don't think Dallas Baptist is looking for it, we got a chance to get things right. The Cajuns are sitting at number 14. So they're looking at it as a big opportunity. The Cajuns are figuring that Dallas Baptist will turn things around. Let's see what Dallas Baptist's RPI is. That's 94. One would think that would be a top 50 by the end of the season if they are who we think they are. And that'll be a big help if they can go and take 2 out of 3 before they start Sunbelt play. They do get UT Rio Grande Valley, which is 4-8, but those guys are packing it in. I guess they got a new stadium down in Harlingen or somewhere in there. And Cajuns get McNeese, and then rival South Alabama to begin Sunbelt play next weekend. So we'll see how that goes. Elsewhere in the Sunbelt, again, kind of saw that coming with the Southern Miss and Nicholls. I did not realize that, I'm the first to say, I did not realize that Nicholls was the Southern Miss kryptonite. So if you want to blame me on that one, okay. So when I put down, it was a classic letdown game because big crowd, Mississippi State, huge opportunity. And, they had the 2 wild pitches on strikeouts and come back and win that baseball game, come from ahead, if you will. All right. Didn't see anything until we saw Nicholls, and there's one Twitter feed that's showing, crazy closer on the mound. And Nicholls is a win. I'm like, hey, they're hosting Nicholls. Careful. And they didn't get the job done. They had some chances late. They lose 3-2. Not the end of the world, as one of the fans said. I agree. Just a little bit disappointing. You can't build on that Mississippi State victory, especially when I'm going to guess Christian Ostrander said it's a letdown game, right? Don't get caught up in we're going from Mississippi State to Nicholls. So you're thinking about it. If the fans know about it, the players know about it. So let's not kid ourselves. Like they didn't realize what the situation was. So a little bit disappointing loss for Southern Miss, but we presume they will bounce back. As of right now, they're still the number 1 team in Warren Nolan's RPI. Elsewhere, baseball-wise, let's see here. App State, they lose 9-8 to Wake Forest. Wake Forest scores a run in the 9th. Wake Forest got out to a 6-1 lead after 2, but App State responds with 6 in the 4th, Wake 1 in the 5th, App State 1 in the 6th. But Wake Forest gets that run in the 9th, and they beat App State 9-8. A little bit. That's one of those games that, boy, if you could beat Wake Forest at home, that would have been nice for App State. That's a little bit disappointing. The opportunity was certainly there. Old Dominion in a slugfest beats VCU 12-10. Southeastern all of a sudden cooling off. Monroe 16-6. Georgia Southern loses to the Citadel. Yeesh. 7-1. Arkansas State takes down La Tech 8-2. Arkansas State is 11-3. Who do they have this weekend? They get Oral Roberts. They're on the road to Oral Roberts. So we'll see how that goes. And then again, opening weekend, you're going to get Southern Miss at Arkansas State. We're going to find out a lot about both teams. Is Arkansas State everything that they're cracked up to be? Is Southern Miss that good? Remember, Southern Miss is just going on the road and beating La Tech, swept them in what was not a very close series. We'll see what happens this weekend. And then elsewhere, that Marshall, West Virginia game, which was scheduled at the last minute, but was canceled due to rain. As somebody who worked in baseball forever, the fastest way to make sure the weather clears up is to cancel the game. If they waited, it would have rained. Been there, done that. All right, let's see where else. I think we're just about done. And yeah, we are done. All right. And the Cajuns beat LSU 7-2. We do that. Okay. Let's talk some Sun Belt basketball. It's not like there's not a little bit going on in the Sun Belt. All right. JMU pulls away from Louisiana. They advance to take on the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. We'll talk about that after I tell you about Game Time and 5-Hour Energy. The biggest stretch of college basketball season is almost here. Buzzer beaters, bracket busters, and those unforgettable moments that everyone's talking about the next day. Being there for live for something like that, that's bucket list stuff. The hard part is always actually getting the tickets. Long queues, prices jumping around, and surprise fees at checkout. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experience in just a few taps. It's incredibly simple to use. The Game Time guarantee means 100% legitimate tickets delivered on time at the best price. And here's the best part. Fees are included in the price you see. What you see is what you pay, period. The seat view feature is a game changer. You can see a panoramic view from your exact seat before you buy. No stress, no guesswork, just a smooth experience from start to finish. That's exactly what you want during the busiest part of the season. Take the guesswork out of buying college basketball tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKDOWN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. And 5-Hour Energy. Welcome to the 5-Hour Energy Flavor Draft. With 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, or Cotton Candy, there's something for everyone. The board is set. The flavors are ready. I've got my number one pick for the 5-Hour Energy Flavor Draft. And you guys know I just love the consistency of the berry or grape. That's what I go with. I'm old school. If I'm going to go a little bit off the board and take a little flyer on one, it will be sour apple. Always enjoy a good sour apple. Find your new favorite flavor of 5-Hour Energy shots, available online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Let me tell you before we go to the college basketball Sunbelt Conference Tournament, let me tell you about the Everydayer Club. Thank you for making Locked On Sunbelt your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the number one sports podcast network. You already live Sunbelt sports every day, and there's plenty of it. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Sunbelt with no interruptions. Members only, all for just $5 a month or $50 a year. Go to LockedOnSunbelt.supercast.com or check the link in the show notes to learn more. All right, so we did women's hoops, we did baseball, and now we finally get to men's hoops. And again, I'm not sure if this game was as close. That's not right, actually. Was the game, I feel like the game was reflective of the score, 87-72. James Madison beats the Cajuns. Having said that, every time I looked up, the Cajuns were making a run. They're down double digits. I don't think it got to 20. Let me see what the biggest lead was. It was, it was at the end, 15. But it was consistently 10, 12, 14. And then it was 5. 10, 12, 14. And then it was 6. And the Cajuns just would not go away. That's kind of how you know you got the right coach. Because there's other teams that I root for that's not happening. And what Quantas White has done with this team, all kinds of injuries, all throughout the season. Although Dorian Finister did play in the 2 ball games after suffering a concussion. But they had major injuries that guys were missing and didn't play at all. And so guys that they were counting on. And so when guys are coming off the bench, and Jackson Olvera, who he may make the all Sunbelt team. Like he may be the leading scorer in the tournament as of right now. Olvera had 28 points on 10 of 21 shooting. he had 29 in the victory over Georgia State. So I'm not sure how much was expected from Jackson Olvera. But JMU gets it done. It was really the rebounding edge was the difference, because statistically you're like, how can this game be close? And it didn't finish that way. I understand that. But how can JMU be shooting almost 60%, the Cajuns closer to 40%, and it's a 5-point ball game? The rebounding was the difference. JMU 41 to 23. Second chance points only 14-7. But anytime that the Cajuns needed a miss, they got one. But JMU would get the ball back and put it back in, or get fouled, or both. And that's how JMU advanced. All right. Quickly, you did have McBride. Actually, Cliff Davis led the way with 21 points. McBride had 20. Bradley Douglas with 18. I mentioned Olvera with 28 points. And Finister, he had a solid ball game. 9 out of 13 from the floor. He had a 27. But, the Cajuns scored 72. And Olvera and Finister had 55 of that. So there's not a whole lot more after that. So James Madison going to take on Southern Miss. That should be the early game, 6 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Central time on Thursday. Meanwhile, we're waiting for the end of the other ball game, which is going on right now. And that is Georgia Southern is trying to put on the finishing touches against Old Dominion. And it may be a minute because it's now down to a 3-point ball game. Georgia Southern calls timeout, up 84-81 with 33 seconds left to go. All right, so I'm going to put this podcast out immediately. So don't think we can stall, because as we all know, 33 seconds can last 10 minutes. So we're about done. All right. We're going to start putting out a little bit more content. It's a little bit more work. Please subscribe. I seem to have lost some subscribers, but that's okay. We're still over 2,900. That's the key. Trying to get to 3,000. But we'll see what happens with this basketball tournament. All right. We'll see if South Alabama on the women's side can prevail, maybe win one more ball game. And we'll see who comes through. I don't think the real action will start until Friday. I think that's when I think the real action comes. Let me see. I have I got the bracket in front of me, or I did. Yeah. Oh no, it starts on Thursday, because Georgia Southern is going to get Arkansas State, but I think Arkansas State wins that ball game. Can Arkansas State take down South Alabama, or does South Alabama beat Arkansas State 3 times this year? All right. That's where, again, I see, and for some reason, Arkansas State as a 7 seed had the 4th smallest odds of winning, right? Besides Troy and Marshall. And I have to go see who was number 3. Was it Coastal was number 3? So that's where it was. All right. I'm not sure Texas State. No, I guess it was Coastal. All right. All right. We will, we got to go back to work. Break's over. And so we will be working. The next 2 days off, though, are going to be fun. Next Tuesday and Wednesday, the Marshall Thundering Herd are coming to me. They're playing day games in Louisville, and I just happen to have them off because one is a 3 p.m. game and another one is an 11 a.m. game. So, and the weather's supposed to be pretty good. It's supposed to warm up. Hopefully it does for those 2 ball games, but they are coming to me. So I'm looking forward to seeing a little Marshall Thundering Herd baseball next weekend. Next week. Those will be the first. Those will be the next 2 days off I have after a nice 8 days off as it worked out. All right, let's see. I can let me see if the game finished. I presume they had to call another timeout. They may be having issues getting the ball in bounds. How about Jordan Battle? Jeez. For Old Dominion, Jordan Battle has 45 points. Oh, my goodness. Alden Applewhite has 27, and Spud Webb with 2 Ds has a 25 for Georgia Southern. But Jordan Battle, listen to these numbers. 11 of 17 from the floor, 8 of 9 from 3, 15 of 16 from the free throw line. Jeez. He even has 3 assists, 2 rebounds, and 2 steals. Jordan Battle, 45 points, at least for the Monarchs, with 27 seconds left to go. There are Georgia Southern leading 84-81. They just called another timeout. They can't have that many more timeouts left to go. His Battle made a 28-footer to make it a 3-point ball game. So we're waiting for, I guess, Old Dominion's got a foul as we'll see if Georgia Southern can hit their free throws. All right, but we'll find that all out tomorrow when we wake up. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. You've been watching Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. We got a bunch to do, and we haven't even scratched the surface yet with spring football. That's kicking off as well. Have a great Thursday, everybody. I will talk to you again on Friday.